Hey, something bizarre happened, so I wanted to address it. I was asked by a woman if I was a wolf, what would I do to her? If we were in the woods and if I was a wolf, what would I do? I thought about this from a comical standpoint, and I asked, I said, well, where did you get a scenario like that from? They said they got it from a book that they were reading, and this person was completely out of my league is what I'm going to say. How about that? People said you're not supposed to use the word ugly. So can I edit that part and just say out of my league? How about that? So when the universe pool of attraction is chilling like it's on the beach somewhere, and Cupid is out of the zip code, my answer to a question like that when looking dead into an opponent's eyes is nothing. Because the wolf will probably be full at that point, or become a vegan, or I probably would practice, what do you call it, fasting at that point. So that's what I should have said. It would have been a rude answer, right? If you and I was in the woods and I was a wolf, I probably would fast. How about that? Or if you and I were in the woods and I was a wolf, I probably would become a vegan. So that sounds mean, and so somebody's going to probably not talk to me or unsubscribe or say you a bad boy or, give me a hard time about stuff. But what does the world want me to say, I say stuff that people want to say. I do. I got my own network and I say what I want to say sometimes, but not really. Y'all have not seen me open up with the way that I think and the way that I feel. Sometimes I sugarcoat stuff so much that I get a sweet tooth and I get cavities because I can open up with some stuff from my own mind and some people who I talk to know it. Some of the people who I have dialogue with on a close level know that, oh my gosh, he don't even record what he's really thinking. So the wolf in the woods scenario, now they think because I got these fangs right here, and they understand that when it gets to a certain part of night, especially on the weekend, that these things can come down like that and stick out like that, and then the head goes back, ow, or something like that. But we're getting close to the weekend, so if you hang around and vibe with me, you just might see the wolf. But to humor myself, I just figured I'd give you guys a little something real quick. Now, if that was some tasty meat, grade A meat, some steak, lamb, or something like that say, hey, Mr. Wolf, I am a lamb chop or pork chop, or I'm a piece of steak. What would you do to me if you saw me in the woods? I would say, hey, Mr. Steak or Mrs. Steak, I think this is phenomenal that you're out here. And if it's a male steak, piece of steak, and I probably would take another steak and stick it like right into the heart of the steak and then keep it moving. But if it was a woman piece of steak, the kinds you cut with the A1 sauce on it, I would say, hey, well, I'll tell you what, why don't you come back to the log cabins or whatever that the three little pigs built and let me explain to you. I have a fireplace inside of there and everything else, a nice dinner table and a nice shower and a bubble bath and things that can be provided because I like steak, you know what I mean? And to eat a piece of steak is just like my dream. And as the night goes along and we're walking back, I noticed she had a little red coat on. It had a hood and everything on it. But she was probably about, let's see, I'm thinking at this point, if I was to gauge on this woman's age, she probably was about, let's say, 40. That's what I would guess. So now she's out in the woods. 40-year-old woman, what are you doing out here? First of all, ma'am, and you're out here all by yourself in these dangerous woods. And the sun is starting to set and it's starting to get a little bit darker. It's pretty dangerous out here. There's hippopotamus, there's rhinos, there's lions, tigers, and oh my. And you're just like floating through the woods. And it's getting close to night. And you're asking me what I would do in this type of situation. So I imagine night is getting ready to set. So you probably need to take cover. So I'm going to assist you as I create blankets, hot cocoa, chocolate, and different things like that. Have this piece of steak sit on the couch. And I would say to the piece of steak, you know what, you are really beautiful. I like the darkness, you know, because you are well done. And I like the particular curves that you have going right here along this portion of your cut. And so it's like a curvy piece of steak or whatever is what she was. I thought that was really nice. And I thought God had was blessed me because this was a really nice piece of steak. So I said, wow, this is going to be really good. So I said, I have these utensils that I'm capable of using. And one of them is a long one. The other one isn't as long. But the one that's long, it has the ability to cut. Now, if you're down in Atlanta, somewhere down south, you might understand what it means if I said I was going to cut her. Now, that was a sneaky one. I kind of slid that in. If you don't understand the language, somebody need to ask Outkast or Andre 3000 or Big Boy, something about that. Witch Doctor. So I got this long utensil. And I got this other one that's a uniquely designed one. Some say the devil uses something like a pitchfork, but it's smaller. And so with that being the case, I can use that for concentration purposes. So if you don't mind coming over here to this table and sitting over here, let me tuck you in and make you feel real comfortable. She say, oh, well, thanks, Mr. Wolf. I say, just call me Motell. And she said, oh, okay, Motell. I said, yeah, Wolf is just so informal. Doesn't feel like we're close enough to each other. You know what I mean? Sounds like you don't know me. I don't know you, and I know you guys like to get to know me. I want to get to know you a little bit better. So since that's the case, we're going to go ahead and get past that. I'm Motell, and these fangs don't pay that much attention to them. They're just for safety purposes and mechanisms and things like that. I protect this whole little castle that I got here. So if you like this mansion, maybe I give you a tour and you can enjoy it. But once we finish that, then we're going to come back here to the table. So she sits down. And I just said, hey, you know what? I'm going to touch you. Now, this might not hurt that much, but I've heard, you guys say that it, sometimes there's a problem. So I take the little utensil and I do a little bit of digging, just a little bit of digging. And she says, that hurts. I said, it's okay. I'm just going to take my time with it. Then she says, that hurts, but it hurts so good. So I continue to dig and cut pieces and then using my fangs and whatnot to get a chance to dive into the meat and the taste. And I'm eating and trying not to be rude. Got a mouth full of pieces. And I'm like, this is okay. And she steady just moaned a little bit, So this is the piece of steak, and they asked me what I would do with a piece of steak if it was in the woods or whatnot. And since Motell Granite has been called a wolf, this is what I would do. So I ended up doing what I was supposed to do, and I ate her.